Good morning. Morning, Mike Whaley and Ben Craig and Minnesota Maker. How you guys doing this morning? YouTube is telling me my video output does not match the expected resolution. I'm like, I haven't changed anything. Morning, Joe. So I don't know if this looks jacked up or something, because it's, like I said, it's telling me that my output resolution does not match their video resolution. Morning, Red Light. So things going on right now. The CR10S4 arrived yesterday, shortly before my I had to set up for my live stream for my music, so I didn't have a chance to even touch it yesterday, and I will get to it today. It's sitting back there in a gigantic box. It's enormous. I'm wondering if I'm not going to have to come up with a different place to set it up, because I'm thinking it might even be too big for the shelves I have. She just rolled her eyes. And my daughter came and moved out some of her stuff yesterday, and but her room is nowhere near cleared out yet. She said she'll finish clearing it out here in a couple days. So the new makerspace will be underway as soon as she gets the rest of her crap out, and I can go in and clean out the room. The place she's moving into is fully furnished, and so she's not taking any of the furniture out of the room. So, yeah, I got to deal with that. That's going to be some trips probably to Goodwill. I did find a taker for her bed that will come over and pick it up in the next day or two and get it out of the way. And then she's got some shelves in there that are not really suitable for anything makerspace wise, so they'll probably go to Goodwill. And then she's got a desk in there that I'm going to reappropriate into my son's room somewhere. And I got to get that stuff out of the room so that I can go in, vacuum the carpet real good, clean it up, and then start moving all of the 3D printing related stuff into that room. The desk she has is too small to use for this setup, so I will have to get a different desk as well, but that should be easy enough. I'll just get one of those cheap ones at Walmart. Once I get everything out, I can kind of take some measurements and game plan where the floor layout, how that's going to go. So I'm debating, since that's going to happen within the next 3-4 days, I'm debating whether I wait until I can just set it up in the new makerspace and set the CR10 up then. But I'm impatient. I can't leave it in the box. I'm impatient. I want to open it up and print with it. Morning, Thomas Elrod, Mr. Buttram. Yeah, I could put it together this morning. We could do that. It's not what I had, totally planned, but yeah, it's here. It's in a ginormous box. How ginormous? This ginormous. Can't even get it all on camera. There we go. Look at that. It's huge. It's huge and it's heavy. It's okay in the box, Red Light says. That's why he likes to keep his, right? So yeah, I'm debating whether it makes sense to set it up and then have to try to move it after putting it together, uh, or if it makes more sense to only set it up and put it together once and just wait 2 or 3 days till I can get it down in the new makerspace and put it together down there. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. I'm still in yesterday's clothes. The shower and everything will come after the stream because I didn't have time. I literally got up here about 10 minutes ago after taking my son to school, and my wife had me clean out her car before she had to leave for work, so I had to do all that. Right? Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it's not like I've done anything in these clothes, really. Not anything. I haven't gotten sweaty or anything, so there's no real smell. My hair's looking awful though because it's been hadn't been washed today. I got to wash it to do anything with it. All right. So the CR10 is going to open up. This S4 is going to open up a world of opportunity for me as far as some of the things that I'm designing and some of the things I'm planning on designing, and giving me an opportunity to print them out. And one of those things is the modular building system that I've been letting bounce around in my skull for a while. Because I want to do a modular building system so that I can build, people can print out and build bases, warehouses, play sets, things like that out of, and they can just print the pieces they want and put it together, being a fully modular design. And that way, the only limit will be, well, the structural limits of the plastic, will limit as far as exactly how big the building can go. And my design, of course, will influence that as well. So that's one of the challenges I'm facing right now is trying to figure out a way to make everything strong yet modular. And I took a stab at it once, and I had some severe engineering deficiencies in my design, where once I went more than 1 story high, the building wasn't working out so well anymore. So I have to re-engineer how I'm going to connect the walls together and add second stories and things like that. And so it's a lot to figure out, but I will get there. Printer still in the box and displayed at Murph. Yeah, absolutely. And you'll have everybody bugging you to put it together while you're at Murph. So yeah, I mean, I could put this thing together this morning. I'd have to drag out my work table and put it together because it's large. The only place that I could put it together other than dragging out the work table would be on the floor, and I don't want to do that. All right, let's go to the screen share. All right, so that was the reason I was doing the displacement maps in the last one is so that I can add textures to the buildings, the wall blanks. So I'm going to make a wall blank, and then I can put different textures on those walls. And there may be some learning curve involved in all of it. Morning, Vince. Oh, let's turn on screencast before we go any farther. Text editor. Open. Desktop. Screencast keys. Run script. 3D view. There's the N key. Start display. So what I was thinking is maybe if I leave a slot in the middle, then I could create little tabs that are printed as separate pieces, and then you could use more or less of them if you needed more rigidity in the walls. Open locks GPL. It's a good locking system to put your components together. I will have to check that out. Joey, come here. Joey. Joey, nobody's scared. Nobody's scared of you. Get up here. He thinks he's big and vicious. Sometimes he forgets he's a little fluffy white dog that nobody would be afraid of. I've only met one person in my life that would be afraid of him, and that was a kid that used to live across the street from us. His name was William, and he was terrified of Joey when Joey was a 6-pound little fluff ball, little 8-week-old 6-pound fluff ball, and William was terrified of him. He used to come over. He was a little kid, but we used to let him come over and play video games with Rhett, and he came over, and he came in the house right after we got Joey, and he was coming in to play video games with Rhett, and Joey comes bouncing around the corner because he was just a tiny little puppy, and as soon as he saw Joey, the poor kid, he took off running back out the front door, screaming and crying, and ran all the way across our front yard, ran straight across the street without looking. Thank goodness there were no cars coming, and ran into his house. And so I was like, well, it's like he just took off like terrified, screaming and crying. I was like, I better take Joey over to their house and let his mom see that we didn't get some big vicious creature, that he was fleeing from a 6-pound white fluff ball. Lid looked better, but still broke before the hinge released. Any ideas on what'll make it more stable? Because I'm willing to try other things. I mean, I'm almost thinking the next step would have to be just leaving them as open loops and designing a pin that plugs in through the hole. Morning Dawn. Okay, so they're still pretty thin. Yeah, I think that may be the next approach. So version 4 just keeps it keeps iterating. Come here. Come here. Say hi to the people. Doesn't he look vicious and terrifying? You're vicious, aren't you? You're vicious. Vicious dog. You're vicious attack dog. He thinks he is. Morning, Chris. Yeah, Joey was barking and trying to get his bluff in on everybody that he was a vicious dog. So, Chris, I got the CR10S4 arrived. It's sitting in a giant box behind me. And I was debating whether I should unbox it now or wait until I move into my new makerspace here in the next 3-4 days. It's like, do I unbox it, set it up now, and then just have to move it in a few days? Or do I wait until I get the new makerspace set up and just set it up once? Well, I'm just thinking, spend all that time to get it tight and put it together right and all that, and then go to move it and then have to go back and retighten and readjust and reconfigure everything just from having to pick it up and carry it down the stairs. And I don't know how successful I'd be at carrying it down the stairs and down the hallway and through the door of the new makerspace and all that without messing it up. While in the box, I know it's safe. To quote Red Light, keep it safe in the box. Ha! Not that. Morning, show 'em. So yeah, you're watching me struggle to engineer this part. Yeah, I could, I could do that. Show them. If you guys are gonna design the shell, and then what, I would just make it functional at that point. Cut the cut the door openings and stuff, and hinge them. And wheels that roll and all that. I can certainly take a stab at it. Okay, cool. Works for me. Scale that. Follow Y. Cool, man. Yeah, absolutely. I just quickly threw this layout together. I should spend more time with it. I have not. Let's see. Yeah, that would work. That would work, Sean. So what I was thinking here, and this could be, you know, totally still needing to be re-engineered, especially since it looks like is these grooves here. I could design a part that slides in and locks into that groove and then has the same extension out here to slide another wall into, and then you'd have the walls flush. And then corner caps would just be L-shaped versions of that. And I might need to carve out some spots for the corners on the inner wall to have a spot to stick out there. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that interlocking system that you were talking about, Joe, for your dungeon tiles. See how they do it. Might help me. This one. Need just like that. Okay. It's going to be an interlocking wall system for making uh, buildings, 1/18 scale buildings. If I can make it work. And Joe was suggesting that I take a look at the dungeon tiles that he does and the way they interlock theirs, and maybe give me an idea. Because I mean, when I get to this, we're talking about walls that will be 1/18 scale of an 8-foot high wall. So that would mean the wall is going to need to be. Let's do some math real quick here. 8 feet into millimeters is 2,438.4. So just round up a little bit and call it 2439. 2439 divided by 18. It's 128.4. Let's round it up to 129. So talking about walls that are 129 millimeters in each direction. And then I'm not sure how thick they'll need to be. I don't know. I'm just playing around right now. I'll probably end up changing things a lot before it gets actually built. That's all right, Sean. It happens. So yeah, probably round it up and just call it 130 millimeters. Make it easy. But with the CR10S4, that means I can print 4 wall sections at a time. Then lay it out so that the interlocking clips are fitting on the bed too. Then it would be like printing, all the walls necessary for a room in one print. Yeah, I could print them standing up, and then that would be God only knows how many. That would be a lot. Yeah, and it would probably be better printed upright anyway, just because of when I start talking about details for bricks and whatnot, it's going to have better resolution on the X and Y standing up, and then I could print a whole bunch of them. As long as they didn't fall over like dominoes. Wake up to a build plate full of toppled dominoes and spaghetti. Wow. Oh no. 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 Pick a time. Windows is wanting to do an update. It was trying to restart now. At least I had it set to warn me first. I told it I wanted to pick a time and it didn't come back up. It's like we need to wait till after the stream at least. That'd be a stream killer, huh? And I'd be going off on Windows like Glenn did the other day. Glenn was not happy with Microsoft. I don't imagine he still is. Dumping all the condensation from my cup off of my Chris Riley coaster. Robbie Mack. Good morning, sir. The giant box is safe and sound right there. Right there. And the box looks like it's still in impeccable shape. None of the corners are crunched on it, nothing. So no rips or tears in the box. So UPS handled it very, very carefully. Either that or the box is just one tough son of a gun. She just rolled her eyes and walked away. I think that was about as good as I could expect out of it. Oh, I think she said, it all seems very suspect to me. I'm like, it's not. Don't read anything into it. Yeah, so that was the best reaction I could hope for was, well, first she goes, what did you order? I said, I didn't order anything. And she's like, okay. Well, what is it? I said, it's a 3D printer. And I said, somebody else in the community that wasn't using it, sent it to me. And she goes, oh, and walks away. Well, like I said, there are no dents, scrapes, tears, anything on the box. It's in good shape. I'm itching to get it out of the box. I am, but I don't know if it makes sense to get it out of the box when I'm going to be moving all of my 3D printing stuff into a new makerspace within the next three to 4 days. Because my daughter finally came and started clearing out her room last night, and she said she'd come back for the rest of the stuff on her next day off, and she'd text me and let me know when that is. And since she's not taking any of the furniture, I found somebody who wants her bed, so her bed is going to get picked up and taken out of here in the next day or two. And then I got to haul some stuff off to Goodwill. Well, thanks, Joe and Robbie. And I'm also counting down the days till I go see my sister. It's getting close. I'm excited. I'm a little bit tuckered out because normally I have Tuesdays off, and this Tuesday I played the Robertson County Fair instead. So Tuesdays normally my only day where I don't sing or play music, and I'm completely off and can rest. And I didn't have that this week, so it's right back to the grind. Mike Whaley was watching the stream after the stream was over and commenting on it like it was live. He was rewatching the stream after the stream was over, and I was like, Mike Whaley commented on your video. And I went to go look, and it was like he was responding to the video like it was live. I'm like, it's not live anymore, man. It's from an hour ago. Uh-oh, encoder overloaded. Is the video having issues? We okay? Just had a pop up on OBS telling me the encoder was overloaded. Yeah, maybe I need to take a look at Joe's dungeon tiles before I even continue this. Well, crap. $31 large cards, 21 small cards, and 8 Wreck-It Ralph medals at a $125 resin. It's not bad. Yeah, I could. Only thing is what I need first is I need a blank interlocking tile. That's the first thing I need is a blank tile, because then I will save that blank and then be able to just go in and start with that blank, put a new texture on that blank, move to the, save it, different texture on the next one, save it, and then as tileable things. So you print out, like, whether you're printing out brick textured ones or siding textured ones, and then I'll need to go through and make ones that have door openings, different window configurations, windows that you can insert into them. It'll all have to be modular, but I have the first thing I have to have is the blank. Yeah, anything. I would think anything that you were going to be passing out a lot of copies of, making a mold and casting it would be a better way to go. And that may even be something that I'll need to look into at some point on some of the stuff that I'm doing. Um, just 3D. There you go. Cool. Thanks, Chris. Just got your email. Yeah, yeah. Mike realized after a minute or two that it wasn't live anymore. Yeah, I do it at 8 o'clock Central Time on Wednesdays. Although my next one is going to have to come on a different day, and we're thinking right now we're going to do it on Saturday. I do not. I have not made myself a maker coin yet, and I'm supposed to make one for red light. I haven't made myself a maker coin yet, mainly because I'm not happy with my logo at all. I hate it. It was something I threw together really quickly because I was trying to get the website put together and the channel graphics put together, and I just threw it together. And the more and more I look at it, the more and more I just loathe it. Yeah, so it's like I don't want to make a maker coin and print it out of a logo that I hate. Yeah, I need a new logo before I need to be happy with the logo. So I need to sit down and brainstorm on logo design. I have not seen that yet, Sean. I'm sure I will. Did you put it up on like Twitter or something? So far, the best maker coin I've seen is this one. And especially since it's all at different layers, and if you wanted to do color swapping on the layers, you could do some amazing things with it. No, it's the truth, man. But not that I have a whole lot of maker coins to compare it to. And I'm not saying I don't like other people's, but this one is the best, in my opinion. I mean, I don't have a lot to compare it to. Like I say, I'm not saying I don't like others. Um, the only other one I have is this one, which I like it all right. Just I like all the intricate detail on Chris's. Although I will say, Fun King's print quality on theirs is phenomenal. I mean, those layers went down like butter. I don't know what machine they printed that on, but their maker coin is the print quality on it is gorgeous. Oh man, yeah. I'm really interested in the palette too. I don't see it having any benefit to me just yet. Um, but it certainly looks like the technology is very, very promising. The question that I have is how do they avoid, since I mean, I was watching that video of Joel's, and they didn't. There was no sort of purge block or anything in the print they were doing. How do they avoid bleed when the colors change? Or is the bleed just not that noticeable? Right, Shalom. Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't do that because, like I said, I just don't like my logo. I don't like it. Second email will be open lock. So is open lock something that is the design of it open source so that you can use it for your own purposes? Or I I still plan on using whatever I find to base my own design off of, but it might give me some hints the right directions to go. And I don't even know if something from that scale will work at 1/18th scale. Oh wow. Okay. So it changes its color during infill so that the bleed between the two colors isn't noticeable. On-site tech here. Be back in a little bit. Okay. Cool, Joe. Yeah, I'm curious as well. I think the most promising thing about the palette too is the fact that it can work with any printer. Now I know people are saying that Prusa's MMU2 can be put on any machine if you uh, add you know add the code into your Marlin into your firmware. You can add the multi-material to it, but I don't know. I think it's mainly specifically designed to go with the Prusa machines, and if you don't already have a Mark III, then buying a Mark III and the multi-material will cost you more than just buying the pallet too. So yeah, and although I like, it looks like Prusa is working on, instead of a purge block, you can print another part with the purge, which is kind of cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know Joe's busy right now, but I got his email. His first one, anyway. The Prusa machine, they're already working on purge as infill. But the thing that I think is going to be a problem with that is, say you were printing a black and white part, and if you have black infill inside part of the white wall, it's going to show through. No doubt about it. But I like the thing that they're working on to print another part with the purge instead of a purge block. So then it wouldn't necessarily be a wasted part. Like in my case, I could print things like axles and things like that, things that aren't going to be seen once they're on the vehicle with the purge material. And then because once you put the axle in the wheel and clip it on the frame, it's not really that visible. So it wouldn't really matter what color that was. So I could use the printing a part with the purge to print things like axles and interior pieces that don't really get seen, and then it wouldn't be wasted filament. Purge vlog benchies. Yeah, so I mean, I can see, I could see where I could come up with a use for it, but I don't really just necessarily have a use for it now. Where it would be nice is printing things like the grills and stuff like that for my vehicles, because then I could load up, um, orange and silver to print the turn signals and the headlights with amidst the grill color, whatever color the grill is. I guess same thing with when printing the rear panel of the vehicle. I could load some red filament and print the brake lights in red. Would be really cool is to print it so that it puts silver behind a transparent, translucent orange for the turn signals, and silver behind clear for the headlights. That would be doable. And then when it printed out, it would almost have that realistic look. Because if you put silver behind a translucent orange, it's going to give it that look like you're looking at an actual turn signal on a car. That would be neat. And then black for the insides of the grill, so that it would look like, wouldn't have to paint anything that way. I don't know. I could see use for it with printing the grills of the vehicles, especially. The Purge 4, Return of the Benchy. Yeah, I think Prusa's multi-material handles 5 materials, right, Chris? Am I mistaken on that? Yeah. So you do 4 colors and then one PVA. Use the PVA for your supports, and then the 4-color print, and then dissolve the supports off. I could see that. like I said, I have a very small use case for it. I guess I could depending upon how accurate the details come out, without bleed and stuff like that, and how fine the details could be. I could print like the dashboards where the dash panels would be more detailed, and not have to come up with like a decal system or anything. No, right? Yeah, it doesn't mix. It just splices. Now the uh, micro 3D crane quad mixes and does 4 colors, and that printer looks really, really interesting. Doesn't have the biggest build volume, but most of the parts that I'm talking about doing don't. I wouldn't need the build volume for the stuff that needed to be multicolor. So, how much is that nowadays? Okay, we're 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 totally leaving the subject of design right now. Sorry, I know that's what you guys tune into this for. So, micro 3D, micro 3D crane quad. OBS disconnected. So they're sold out of the $400 batch. They got the $500 batch. Yeah, I think Windows was trying to apply an update earlier, and I told it no. I think it's trying again. So yeah, if we disappear altogether, it's because all of a sudden my computer's going to restart on me. It does intrigue me, the M3D quad. Although I wonder how those little tiny steppers, because that's what that is, right? It's got 4 independent little stepper drivers on the head. I just wonder how those work, how well they work. So yeah, they sold out of the later ship batch for 400, but they still got the $500 batch. Although looking at the print quality on those, that doesn't look fantastic. Looks okay. It doesn't look great. And you'd think you'd want to put your best print examples forward. It does the mixing of any of the 4 colors, but I imagine that thing is a nozzle jamming potential nightmare. I could be wrong. Be interesting to see though. I haven't seen anybody with hands on one yet. Although were they at anybody who went to IRF? Were they at IRF? Did they have a printer there? Is anybody there? Am I still streaming? Is this still working? I haven't seen any chat go by in a while. Okay. I don't know. It's pretty neat. I think that's where everything is kind of Yeah, Joe, I got your first email, man. I got that. I will take a look at that. Um, okay. Yeah, because I think that's where everything is headed is multi-material, because you got the CRX now. Um, Tronxy even has a dual extruder version now of the X5S, which I would be leery of anyway, because the X5S seems to be quite the iffy machine. Looks like it's was a sound theory poorly executed. Yeah, Robbie Mac, the M3D, these crane printers use it's a stripped down version of the Duet that is made for specifically for them. So it's a Duet, but it's a toned down version, like a bare bones Duet. But Duet is making the boards for them. Did they have any good multicolor prints there to show off? Like I said, the picture I'm seeing on the frogs don't look that fantastic. Well, I guess it's a video, but I'm not going to play that since we're having issues with the stream already. But I mean, I can certainly see a lot of slop, especially around in those areas. Yeah, and Tronxy's released a whole bunch of new versions of the X5S. There's the X5S-A, which is the X5S with a touchscreen. There's the X5S 400, which is a 400 millimeter cubed build volume X5S. And there is the X5SD, which is the dual extruder version. And they've added all of those fairly recently, within the last several months. Okay, so maybe they just shouldn't have put these frogs up as their sample for this video, because it doesn't, especially the blue one there, looks very sloppy. And maybe it's just the overhangs. I'm just curious how well that those, because those appear to be some sort of little stepper or something that moves the individual filaments through. That's the Bowden quad. They keep flopping around. Dual. Just stay on the quad so you quit rotating the image. I don't know, but it seems like everybody's going with multiple material or multi extrusion now, because you had the CRX. Tronxy has the X5SD. The G-Tech has the A10M, which is a dual color A10. So I mean that seems to be the direction everybody's going. Of course, Prusa releasing their 5-color multi-material unit, and palette coming out with the new palette too. It just seems more and more the industry is steering itself towards multi-material. Yeah, I just wonder how much inertia you would have to deal with having all of those little tiny steppers on there. I mean, granted they're tiny, but there's 4 of them. Morning trolling for dollars. How are you doing today? I've totally gotten off topic, and we're on a little bird walk now. Yeah. Squirrel. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It looks like way too much weight for the print head, and I would imagine you would have ghosting problems out the wazoo. So again, that's where the palette 2 looks like it could be handy because it doesn't add any weight to any of the moving parts of the printer. Yeah, I mean, I would love I would love to get my hands on a machine and get to play with it. You know, even if I didn't get to keep it, if it just to play with it and see what it could do. I mean, their price point doesn't seem bad for four color extrusion and mixing and all that. You know, that all seems pretty cool actually. And it's apparent that you can mix the color and then have purge blocks and change and mix to another color and all that. So, and using a duet board, even if it's a stripped down duet, is probably very feature rich. I would assume. I don't know. It all seems it seems very tempting, but I'm not the type to spend money on something until I've seen somebody else show us how if it works. I don't want to be the I don't want because I'm not the one that's technical enough to figure it out if it doesn't work. I leave stuff like that to Mr. Chris Riley and Tom Sandlatter and Angus, guys who can take machines that don't work out of the box and make them work. I'm lucky to make them work out of the box when everybody else in the world is getting them to work out of the box. So it looks like their single extruder unit is sold out everything except for the 449. Their dual extruder unit is sold out up to 499, and looks like the quad's 499 is the cheapest you can get it now. And the first batch isn't going out until September, and who knows when the second, third, and fourth batches will come out. I mean, so you could talk about you could be thinking about the later ship batch if you're one of the people that bought that. Who knows? That could be 6 months from now. So I'm also not a fan of spending my money on something and not seeing it for half a year. But the palette too looks great, especially now that they've got that canvas thing that you plug both the palette 2 and the printer into, and so the two can talk to each other and keep everything configured and aligned. Hmm. Sorry. So yeah, moving my stuff into a larger makerspace. I should have more room. So I'm looking forward to getting that room set up and seeing exactly where I stand. But yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be the best time to assemble the S4. As much as I want to take it out of the box and put it together right now, it's killing me. And I probably will end up doing it. I think it's an unwise move on my part to set it up, get it working now, and then have to move it downstairs and try to get it down the hallway and through the doors and all that without messing it up. You're not helping, Robbie. You're not helping. That's it. The not fun to carry when assembled part. I've seen enough people trying to move them, and I would have to move it down a flight of stairs that takes a 90-degree turn on the stairs, then down a hallway and a 90-degree turn again, and then through a fairly narrow door. And I'm just not sure that's a good idea. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not a good idea. And I'm like, if I can hold off, I can have the makerspace uh, cleaned up and set up in the next 3 to 4 days, and then set it up one time and do it right. I will not be going to Orlando Maker Faire. I can tell you with 100% certainty. Yeah, Don, that's where I'm at, man. Is as much as it's killing me, and as much as I want to take it out of the box and set it up and get it printing and print my Jeep, because that's what I want to do with it first. That's the first thing I want to do with it. And I'm going to scrap this whole thing. I'm not even going to keep it. The first thing I want to do with it is this. There is a slim chance that I may come to the last day of Murph. The only thing that concerns me with that is would I be missing out on 90% of everything cool, not being able to get there until Sunday. And so yeah, I got to ask somebody that's been there. So what do you think, Chris? If I showed up there for just Sunday, would all the cool vendors and all the cool community members all be packed up and gone by then? Because what I was thinking about doing was, what I was thinking about doing was sleeping all day Saturday day, go play my show Saturday night, and leave straight from my show and drive all the way to Goshen, Indiana. Which Goshen is, how long was that drive again? I forget. Goshen, Indiana. How long was that drive, Goshen? Directions to Goshen from my home. 7 hours. 7 hours, and then Goshen is on Eastern time, correct? So it would be an hour ahead of where I'm at. So if I drove straight from, let's see, I get home from my gig at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Just call it 3 o'clock. If I rolled out of my driveway at 3 o'clock for Goshen, that would put me getting there 7 hours later, plus 1 hour for East Coast. So that'd put me getting there at 11 a.m. So if I got to Goshen, Indiana at 11 a.m. Sunday morning, would there still be cool stuff to see and people to hang out with? Okay, cool. Because that's what I was thinking about doing. Because then I would only have to miss one show, and it would be my Sunday show. Right? Yeah. But that's why I said I would have to force myself to sleep all day Saturday. Then I leave for work at 7 p.m. Play my show, get home at about 3 a.m. Take a shower, change clothes, hit the road. And well, stopping for gas and food, it might be noon time I got there. Call it noon. Earth is even worse, Don. And Earth doesn't have Sunday, do they? They're just Friday and Saturday, right? Later, show them. Oh, okay, Saturday and Sunday. Uh, yeah, but driving to Washington D.C. is an 11-hour drive for me. Much worse than a 7-hour drive. The only way I could make that even remotely feasible would be to fly. Yeah, work all night, drive 11 hours to get there at, well, if I drove 11 hours, that would have me getting there at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and when that's not including stops for gas or food. So, yeah, it would be over time I got there just to turn around and drive 11 hours back to be back in time for my Monday night show. I can't take off the weekend. That's when I make like 70 to 80% of my weekly income. And there's no such thing as paid vacation when you're a musician. There's no such thing as vacation when you're a musician. There's no sick days, there's no vacation, there's no retirement, there's no 401k. There's none of that. You are a self employed guy who shows up and gets paid cash. And if you don't show up, you don't get paid. And if you don't show up too many times, they find somebody else to do your job. So if you take off a lot, they'll just give it to somebody else. Hey, Hawk. I am a country singer for a living in Nashville, Tennessee. that's why I can't take off Friday and Saturday. Those are the busiest days that I have, and those are the days I make 70 to 80% of my weekly income in those 2 days. So on top of the expense of the trip, gas, food, hotel, I'd be kissing goodbye, you know, $600-700 worth of income on top of the expense. Yeah, I'm on Spotify. I'm on Spotify. You can find my album on iTunes. And I do a weekly live stream from my home where I sit on a stool and play people's requests for an hour every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central on my Facebook page. Which was last night. Which was a fun one last night because we ended up, my wife got me off on a tangent of playing songs that I pretty much never play. You still on vacation, Ben? Oh, he's leaving us. But yeah, the first thing I want to print with that CR10 is this Jeep. That's the first thing that's going to happen, I think. Is the first attempt at printing it. And one thing I need to do. Spain. Say it's hot in Spain, huh? For me to drive to KC, takes me about 4 hours to get to St. Louis, so it'd be, what, another 4 hours? So it'd be about 8 hours one way. Although I think it would probably make more sense for me to fly to KC at this point, which I'm planning on doing in the near future. As soon as I can get in touch with my biological mother, because she's still living not far from KC. She lives in Clinton. I've kind of left the ball in her court. I was like, let her know that, I told my sister to let her know there's no judgment, there's no animosity, only love, and I just want to be a part of her life, and me to be, her to be a part of my life and me to be a part of hers, and I understand she harbors a lot of regret over, leaving me when I was a baby the way she did, and so I'm like, it's cool, don't worry about it. I have a good life now. I have a great life now. And I have my dream job. I have a great family. And I wouldn't be the man I am today without the circumstances under which, got me here. So, um, I told my sister to tell her to, it's okay to let that guilt go. She doesn't need to feel any guilt. And give her my number and let her know that she can call me when she's ready. So I know she lives just outside of Clinton, Missouri. So if she gets to the point where she's ready to see me, then I will make a plan to fly to Kansas City and go see her. When is the Palette 2 testing? When are you doing that? Did you order one? Oh, absolutely, man. I, I'm missing myself a burn-in sandwich from Gates like you wouldn't believe. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm missing walking into Gates and hearing one of the ladies behind the counter, because they don't pronounce their H's when they say it, but I may help you, and they scream it at the top of their lungs as you walk in the door. It's like there's no in the H. It's not. It doesn't exist. But yeah, I walk in there and I can't wait. The only thing I don't like is they don't give you refills. Now they do give you a big glass, but they don't give you refills. Some good sweet tea and a big old burn-in sandwich. Mm. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I've been singing for 28 years, man. I'm 41 years old, and I've spent 28 years of it singing. Exactly, Chris. Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, it's aggressive. You walk in and it's you be ready to make your order, and they're gonna hustle you right on through and get you to a seat so you can eat you some barbecue. It don't take but a couple minutes, and your butt's in your seat with a big old sandwich in front of you. Yeah, I've been tempted to have somebody like try to freeze me one and ship it. Because the last time I got to go through last year, we played up in we played the Nottoway County Fair up in Maryville, Missouri. So we drove right through Kansas City. But when we drove through, it was the middle of the night, and Gates and everybody else was closed. And we picked up a show on the return trip in St. Louis, and we had to leave out so early. We passed back through Kansas City on our way back to St. Louis before any of those places were open. So again, I drove right through the barbecue promised land, and I got no barbecue. I passed through it twice and got nothing. I was wishing I would have had some friends in Kansas City that I could have called them up and said, "Okay, I'm passing through. It's too late for me to get any barbecue. Could you stop, put some in your fridge, and we'll meet in a parking lot as I pass through town, and I can get some. You just refrigerate it, and I'll eat it as leftovers. It's fine, doggy bag style. I'm good. If I can just give me some Gates." Well, thanks, Hawk. I appreciate it, man. At this point, there's probably no record deals. I'm too old. I'm too old. Record labels look at an artist before they sign him, and they ask themselves a singular but two-parted question, and that is, can we make money off of him, and for how long? So even if somebody checks the first box and says, yeah, we can make money off of him, the how long part, because I'm 41, would probably be 3, 4, maybe 5 years. I mean, luckily, I present myself young for 41, but uh, it would still be, at what point is Father Time going to catch up to him? thanks, thanks, trolling for dollars. I appreciate it, man. You know, it is what it is. I've never been that guy. Um, I never set out in the music business with stars in my eyes. I never thought I was going to be the next Garth Brooks. I just set out to be the best Ricky Lee Tanner I could be, and see where that got me, and go as far as I can, and do what I can. And if that never leads to a record deal, that's fine. My primary goal was make music for a living. You know, keep a roof over my head, and lights on and food in my fridge, and do it all through music. And I'm doing that. So I can say that as far as that's concerned, I made it. I succeeded. I'm living the dream. I make music for a living. Um, Now the next goal in that dream is as a songwriter, um, to leave a lasting legacy for my family. Is to have somebody cut one of my songs, and have it earning royalties that when I'm dead and gone, that my family will be able to collect on for another 65 years. Thanks, Joe. I've been in this business for a long time, and so I know what the business is looking for, and I know that I'm no longer in that prime grouping. Life circumstances that things that happened in life, they led me to I had to take some detours. I had to jump off of the path that I had set myself on, and it all steered itself back to where it was meant to be. I feel like I'm where I was always meant to be, is here in Tennessee. Um, I didn't get here till I was 37. So just as the window was closing, I finally got here. Be much like if I tried to go to Earth and only take Sunday off. I would get there just as it was closing. I'll see what I can do, Hawk. Well, you know what they say, Joe Paddock. You know that song is "Video Killed the Radio Star." That's and it's never been truer than it is today. Um, Nowadays they sign these young kids, and some of them couldn't sing their way out of nothing, and but they're pretty, and they can fix their voice in the studio, and now they can fix it live too. You know, you can tune somebody's voice using Pro Tools at a live concert now. They're singing live. There's a backing track going, and a program called Melodyne will auto snap as long as they've got as long as they can get at least close to the note. Melodyne can live snap it to the right note. So what's coming out of their mouth is not what's coming out of the speakers. Exactly. MP3s killed CDs, and then the internet killed the iPod. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the way it's going. Now it's all most people consume their music via streaming services, and streaming services don't pay artists, not near what they should. And so the music business has less money going around, and less money going around means that record labels are more careful with who they sign. They want to be certain they can make money off of them. And they want to be certain they can make money off of them for a long time. So I mean, it's the climate of the business itself has changed. Um, I play acoustic guitar. I've been I've been teaching myself a little bit of keyboard and teaching myself a little bit of ukulele. But other than that, I'm acoustic guitar, and I don't play any like leads or anything. I'm just a strummer. I play well enough to accompany myself, so I can do solo acoustic gigs and write songs. Yeah, and Spotify is another one of those streaming services. Like I said, it's how people are consuming their music nowadays, and um, I think I had in the last 6 months it was 30,000 something streams of my music. I got paid 38 cents for 30,000 streams of my songs. Where I make my money off of royalties is the live performances, reporting my live performances, and that means I got to sit down and spend the time to fill out the form on BMI's website about what original songs I played at what venue and all that. But that's where I make the majority of my royalty money. Yeah, Joe, but you would be in the minority there. Most people nowadays stream their music using plans like the Apple Music plan, where $10 a month you pull up and play any song you want to play. So talking about how much less money is going into the music business now, remember back in the day, you would go out and you would spend, you know, if you went to places that weren't wholesalers, you didn't go to Walmart or whatever to buy your CDs. If you went to like an actual music store in the mall to buy your CDs, you paid $17, $18 for a CD. Every time a artist that you like dropped a new CD, you were in that store, that music store, dropping 17, $18 on their new CD. Now, an artist drops a new album, you go stream the single that you like, or maybe you stream the whole album, and then you just stream after that just the songs that you really like from that artist. And all you did is you paid a streaming service $10 a month, and you listened to several other artists and their new stuff and whatever, and you kept up with it every day. So instead of going and spending, $60, $70 a month keeping up with your favorite artists and buying their CDs, you're spending $10 a month. It's less money being pumped into the music business. So the music business, the fat cats sitting at the top still want to be fat cats. They still want their exorbitant salaries with their limousines and their private jets. And so that means they have to make sure that in order to maintain their livelihood and their lifestyle that they're accustomed to, that artists end up kind of on the short end of it. It's just the way it is. And the artists got to go out on the road and play 150 dates a year and try to make their money that way. Meanwhile, all the things that they're doing, recording their albums, shooting videos and stuff like that, the record label's fronting the money for it, and then they owe that money back to the record label. Well, and that's the other thing streaming services have done. Streaming services have killed all the brick and mortar record stores. Yeah, I mean, because from my perspective, it cost me $8,000 to $10,000 to record a professionally done album. How am I going to recoup that $8,000 to $10,000? And people are less likely to buy CDs now, although I still seem to sell them okay at live shows. Um, but even that's hard to recoup. It's hard to make the money back. And someone in my position, it's just hard to justify raising the money to record the album. Yeah, but even nowadays, Mr. Buttram, everybody's streaming in their cars because their radios in their cars connect via Bluetooth straight to their phone, which is connected to their Apple Music account. I missed the country stream last night. I didn't get to watch it. I know he interviewed Ken, the guy that's making the powder coated PEI spring steel sheets, which intrigues me because I would be interested in picking up one of those. At some point it'll probably get to that, Joe. It will. At some point it'll get to only the biggest artists are making music anymore, and the independent artists will stick to going to their live shows and playing their music there, and hoping people will show up and pay for something there. Robbie Mack likes his 8 track. My favorite part about 8 tracks were the tracks that cut out in the middle of a song, and you didn't get that part of the song back. It would fade out, click, fade back in, not from an earlier spot. It would just fade back in where it left off. And so there was that one portion of the song where you got the fade out, click, fade in. And I'm old enough to remember 8 tracks. Oh God, I'm old. I don't think my son has ever played a CD. He listens to stuff, he just streams it on his phone. Now my daughters, you know, they did CD things. You know, they would listen to CDs. When I was little, it was 8 track and then cassette, and then as I got to be a teenager, we got into CDs, and CDs were expensive then. CDs were like 20, $25 to pick up CD. Oh yeah, there's the big retro crowd that likes to buy their music on vinyl. And the funny thing is, it's young kids. Young kids are buying turntables and buying their albums, buying their records on vinyl again. No, no. As far as Hawk, as far as super fans that go to all my gigs, no. I have too many gigs. There's nobody that can keep up with that. You'd have to. It's a full time job. That's a full time job. I play 6 days a week, and at different times of the day. No one could keep up with that. I can hardly keep up with that. And I play 2 shows on Friday. Every Friday. Hey, Bruce. Yeah, well, and streaming, if that's all you're going for is to release something to streaming, you can digitally release an album cheap, like $60. The problem comes into how do you recoup your recording cost? So unless you own your own studio and mixing and mastering and all that, then recouping your recording costs become the difficult part. Oh yeah, yeah. And but the sad part is most people don't care anymore, Bruce. The only people who care are your extreme audiophile types. Everybody else, they're okay with their their cheap headphones listening to the streamed music over their iPhone. Because only the extreme audiophile types are the ones out spending $200-300 on a pair of headphones to get the best headphones and the best quality they can, and then worried about the quality of the stream and all that. California for me is a long way. It's a long way. I'm in Tennessee. It's even a fairly long flight. Yeah, it would be 29 hours for me to drive to LA. Ah, yeah, it's a 29 hours one way. 1,991 miles. Oh. With toll roads. It's 31 hours if I want to avoid the roads. Yeah, that's a road trip. That's 2-3 days in the car. Time you stop for gas and food and stop to stretch your legs, stop to rest because you're tired. Absolutely, man. You should come to Nashville sometime. Nashville is a happening place, man. There's lots going on. Nashville is becoming one of the biggest booming major metropolitan areas in the country. Yes, you do, Chris. Especially being a musician, it's not right for any musician not to have experienced Nashville at least once. And just because country music is all I do doesn't mean that's all there is. There all types of music here. There's a nice little blues club in Printer's Alley, and then there's some rock clubs out in Midtown. A couple hip hop clubs if that's what you're into. But there's live music of all types going on in Nashville and it all kicks off at like 10 o'clock in the morning and doesn't stop until 3 o'clock the next morning. Yeah, CMA Fan Fest is whew, CMA Fest is whew, whew. That's it's a great time to be in town as far as things to do and people to see because you can see big name national acts. Um, or most of them are people that used to be big names. You can see them for free. You can go sit down on the riverfront and you can watch guys that are either up and comers or used to be big timers for free. Um, Now it's expensive to go see the guys that are current big timers over at Nissan Stadium. It's like $200-300 a day to go see them. But well, unless you get up in the nosebleed, I think then you can get it for like 100 bucks a day to go see the guys who are big time. Now, your Luke Bryans and your Jason Aldeans and Thomas Rhett and guys like that. Um, but you can watch people like you know you can watch people like Lone Star and Mark Wills and Joe Diffie and Gary Allen and stuff like that for free down on the riverfront. Yeah, Chris Young would probably be over at Nissan Stadium and not at the riverfront. Fernando, did you get 4,350 rolls of filament? I mean, they sent you 100 uh, 3D pens for free. Jesse. Oh, you're not going to let that go. Robbie Mack. Robbie Mack's calling him Jesse forever now. Your name officially changed, Fernando. Jesse Lopez. Wasn't it Lopez? You contacted him last night, looking into it. Later, Hawk. Thanks, Ben, for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. And I'm sorry this stream totally went off the rails today. It didn't turn out to be about anything. It just ended up sitting here chatting all day. I'm sorry. I didn't do anything productive. So I apologize to everybody for this turning into a just me talking stream and not learning, doing anything. I'm gonna have to go back and change the title of this video. because I didn't end up doing any stuff we talked about doing. Thanks, man. Yeah, I literally did nothing that I set out to do today. Not one thing. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I Because I should do better than that. Still a nice stream, even though I didn't do nothing. I did squat all. Alright, so I think I need to move those a little bit. Yeah. Maybe back a little bit too. Trying to adjust this because I think when the door opens, it's going to catch that. So I need to move everything on that seam. Hide this stuff, get it out of the way. Tearing that there. I think it is. Yeah, it is jacking that up, isn't it? Crap. I'm going to have to add some ring cuts to that and try and do that differently. It won't ring cut through that. Uh-oh. Okay. That's interesting. So anyway, there's no getting this back on track at this point, being that the stream's over in just a few minutes. Thanks for stopping in, Fernando. Appreciate it, man. He said, I'm sorry I didn't do anything today. Anything productive. We talked about multi-material. I told you guys about my new makerspace setup coming. I told you that I got the CR10S4 is here. But aside from that, we didn't really do anything. I took a failed attempt at building a wall. I think these Thursday boarding streams are just harder on me. Knowing I have to work tonight and everything else, that I have a harder time getting anything productive done. The Tuesday ones are better for me mentally because I'm not thinking I have to, because normally on Tuesdays I don't work, so I'm like, I can mentally wrap my head around stuff. And I'm distracted right now by a lot of things. Setting up the makerspace, new printer, going to see my sister. All that stuff is on the immediate horizon. My daughter moving out, all that stuff is very distracting. It makes it hard to get your brain in that creative mode and just let it you know, get the creative juices flowing. Just get that creative mojo and let it eat. Just let her eat. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to clean that up, but I think that's going to have to happen. Because I think maybe from just a vertice perspective, I can, no? That looks like that's not going to be a flat face anymore. Dadgummit. I guess I'm just going to have to print it out and try it. I'm just going to have to print it out and try it. That's all there is to it. Lopez out. So yeah, anybody that missed it, Mike Whaley's stream yesterday, he had his first troll. That's how you know you've made it on YouTube, when you got a troll. You've really made it once you have a bot. If you have trolls and bots, you've made it. You're a big deal. Oh, and before I forget, Mike Whaley's stream tomorrow is going to happen, but it's going to happen later. He told me to tell everybody that it was going to be like 9:30 his time. So, or I mean 9:30. You say 9:30 Eastern? It's not going to start till later because he's got a doctor's appointment in the morning. So if you're keeping an eye out for Mike Whaley's stream tomorrow, it is going to happen. It's just going to happen at a later time. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm sorry I didn't do anything productive today. I really am. I truly am. I had stuff planned. I had stuff intended. I was going to do it. But I didn't really have my head wrapped around the design that I wanted. And what I started to make was not good. So I just deleted it. And then we got to talking about palette 2s and multi-material version 2s and all sorts of stuff. And Chris Riley's getting himself a palette 2. And I think it's awesome. But yeah, I'm planning a trip, and it probably is going to be sometime because in October, because I'll have it'll be easier to do my son's fall break, and I think that's in October. Anyhow, to Kansas City, and I'm hoping to get in touch with my mom before then, and get a chance to ease her fears a little bit, and then I'll fly up there and meet her. It's a day I've been waiting for a long time. I didn't know about any of this till I was 23, so I guess it's a day that's 18 years in the making. Can't stop yawning this morning. I'm sorry, guys. Looks like a nap is in my future today, before work tonight anyway. Yeah, Don says it was still interesting. Just interesting hanging out and watching me chit chat, because that's all I did today. I didn't do anything productive. So, yeah, next week I will not be here for the Tuesday or Thursday because I will be in Texas, because I'm hopping on a plane early early Tuesday morning, the 28th, flying to Dallas, and going to get to meet my sister that I didn't know I had until a few weeks ago, and give my little sister a long overdue hug from her big brother, and get to meet her husband and my nieces and nephews. And then so I'll be down there all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. I'll fly back Thursday morning, so I'll be, I won't be able to do Thursday either because I'll be flying from Dallas to Nashville Thursday morning. So Mike Whaley said he's going to pick up the slack, and then the plan, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, by the time I do this stream again a week from Tuesday, I'll have everything hopefully moved into the new makerspace with the new printer set up. And so yeah, hopefully this the next stream will be, you will see a different backdrop with printers set up and a big printer set up and going and printing stuff. Not these two little ones that I don't trust unless I'm sitting there hovering over them. And yeah, it'll be good. That's the plan. But hopefully, in turn, printing the big stuff on the big printer will give me more stuff to print with the little printers too. Because the thing is, I just, most of my projects needed the bigger printer to print. It's like, okay, the stuff that does fit on those two little printers that I could be printing, well, what's the point in printing them when I can't print the big pieces to finish the build? The main body parts I can't print. I can print all small pieces. So yeah, having this big printer is going to change everything, because I will be able to print the big piece, and while the big piece is printing, I'll use the two smaller printers to print the smaller parts and have all three printers going at once, and hopefully start slamming together these things that I've been designing. And maybe, just maybe, I can start printing the stuff faster than I can design it, rather than the other way around. That's the plan. But appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. If you're not subscribed, I promise the content is better most of the time than it was today. I'm sorry. Click the subscribe button to keep up with the stuff when I am designing and doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, instead of just being off my game today. And yeah, ring the bell for notifications when I stream. I stream normally every Tuesday and Thursday, except for next week. Next week, the 28th and the 30th, I will not be streaming, because I will be in Texas. But then hopefully when I come back the following week, we'll be in the new makerspace with the new printer setup, and we will be printing out these designs and pumping through this stuff, iterating by then, hopefully finding things that need iteration, iterating those designs, and moving forward, and hopefully getting them out to you people so you all can start printing some of these things too. So I appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. Give a thumbs up if you liked it, and appreciate you all hanging out. Yeah, well, Robbie kind of made that choice for me, Jesse. Robbie wasn't using his, he had two S4s and he wasn't using one of them, and he sent it my way, and I'm so very, very thankful for it. And I will, what I think is going to be best for me, I'm going to wait until I get it in the new makerspace, and then I will make a video of unboxing it, a live stream. We will live stream me unboxing it and putting it together when I get a chance to do that. But I think that's best to happen in the new makerspace. And do you have any videos on that, Jesse? The dual extrusion thing? I'd be interested in seeing what you did and how you went about it. Yeah, Robbie Mack had two of them, and he said he never used it anymore, and he knew that I needed a bigger printer, and that I had depleted the fund I was setting aside for my printer, that I was going to use to buy the Anycubic Chiron. Got depleted on buying plane tickets and rental car to go meet my sister, and totally worthwhile. I would give it up again in a heartbeat for something like that. So family comes first, and especially new family that I didn't know I had. And so I'm gonna go see my sister, and when I get back from my sister, we're ready to crank this thing up and get running full bore. Excited. It's gonna be great. So appreciate you guys hanging out. Not yet on the video. Okay. Cool, man. Yeah. Um, I'll pop into Discord, the Country Club Discord, and hang out there for a little bit. Chit chat with you guys. Sorry, I didn't make anything productive out of this video. I got to go back and change the video description even, because this is not what I intended for this video to be. So thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome, and tune in to Mike Whaley tomorrow, but at a later time. I think he said 9:30. I think he said 9:30. I could be wrong on that. Just keep an eye out for Mike Whaley doing his thing tomorrow. And then Mike is going to cover for me all week next week. I will not be doing Tuesday or Thursday next week, but then we will hit it hard the week after that when I get back. And hopefully a new makerspace, new printers, and rocking and rolling. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later. Appreciate you all stopping by.